Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video of our free course online on YouTube where you can share with the community, you can share with people your questions, what you tried. So this course is all about community building, around having fun, developing on your rhythm. And here I'm just going to explain some of the basics so you can try on your side. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about what is backend development. So of course, what would be the best to try first and to practice the front end. So you can develop an application with Visual Studio Code. And with Visual Studio Code that you download and install, you can do some HTML and CSS and practice from there. But for now, I'm just going to talk about backend development. So mainly backend development, what I explained already is that it's the server-side language that is going to communicate with your data in the backend, on the server, the database, right? So the data on the database is the information you store, like any kinds of information that you need. Obviously, this is stored in tables, normally in tables. So these tables, they correspond to what you look for into your application. If you have clients in your application that can subscribe, then you may have a table called client with columns, with different columns, such as name, could be a column, ID would be a column, could be also anything related to your client, such as maybe the amount he paid in your store, the all the money spent in your store. I don't know, anything that can be related to a client. So it could be also his date of birth, things like that. And the backend language has the ability to make requests to that database to provide the information the user needs on the front end. So now we are just on the server side. So you are on your server, you have all your code there that you developed, and this code is able to be executed to request the data that you need. So you can use different languages for that. Java is one of the most used in the industry. Also Python currently is a lot used, and then you have C# also that is used a lot, and you could use also Node.js, which is a more modern one, which is JavaScript, but on the server side. So my specialty is more front end, obviously, but I love working also with the back end. There's PHP. This is a lot used. PHP, if you make your own website with your own hosting, such as on GoDaddy or namecheap.com. These are examples of sites where you can host a new application. Buy a domain name. You can go on these sites to buy a domain name, and they use a lot PHP. PHP is a different language, but still it is used to do that, to provide information from the database that the user needs, or to store it, to save the information and to request it. There's something in software development that we call the CRUD, CRUD, for C, create, R for read the information, create a new user, for example. U for updating that information. Let's say I want to change the name of the client, so I have a function in my backend that can do that, right? And then delete, so you can have a function that will delete something in your database, in your table, right? Like I said, all the information in your database, you can request it. It is organized with a schema, and that schema contains tables, and tables are related to each other. such as you could have a table called client. You could have another one called population, or location. So that location table is related to the client table, and one client have a specific location, so it can be location 1, and the location 1 correspond to, let's say, Canada or United States in the table, right? Or 3 could be France, as an example. So you can do anything you want with these tables, depending on the information that you want to provide to the user, or what is your application about, right? So it's very a brief explanation of what is backend development. Please ask your questions, and I would be very happy to answer it the best I can. And I love to read myself the documentation to always know better how to answer. And so you can develop the backend with also Visual Studio Code. The difference is that you won't see, you need an interface to see something, a user interface, such as your application, right? So obviously, if you can test your functions, you can do things like that, but when you develop front end, such as with HTML and CSS, you can already see the results, but both are connected. The front end will be what the user will use, and it will communicate with what you develop in the back end, with your functions that request the data, that request database. It gets an information, a username, let's say, and then give it to the front end through other function that it has, what we call the endpoints. So you may have a layer in your back end, the functions communicating directly with the database, and then in your front end, and then you will have also the layer, like the closest layer to your front end, the endpoints, what we call the endpoints. And these endpoints will just call the functions closer to the database, right? Just to give you an idea of all that, Of course, we could talk about different things, many things, but just wanted to talk about in general the basic, so we can have an understanding and move forward, explaining some other things deeper, So from there, it would be good that you start doing some front end, so you can download Visual Studio Code, do some HTML, some CSS, and look for example, on W3 School, which is a website. We have to learn by ourselves. The teacher is there to, give the bases, answer questions, give an idea, and motivate you, make you understand, also, of course, better different concepts. But the best way, of course, everybody needs to do some work, some little things on their side. Just reading a little bit, that's great. It's already super good. We need to do that. So do some reading. You can install Visual Studio Code. Try a few things. Doesn't have to be a lot of things, just a little bit. And then another day a little bit. And then you continue following the course. It's a very short course and simple. We'll talk about other concepts of backend development or software development in general in the next videos. So I took longer for that video. Usually I try to take 4 minutes, but sometimes it's hard to just keep one video 3 minutes, when you feel you have some more things to say. Thank you very much. At least we're under 10 minutes, okay? Take care. Have a great day, and I would be happy to see you comment, anything like that, okay? So it's a free course for you. Share it with your friends, anybody, so we can have fun together, just doing something like development, right? It's a great subject, great science, and a lot used today, right? Take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.